Hey guys, this is Balu from Balu Prime and once again welcome you all back for an exciting tutorial. In this tutorial let me show you how we can do this cloth simulations in Blender 2.91 easily. So hope this tutorial will be useful and further without any ado let's begin. So here you can see I'm using Blender 2.91. Nice. Now let's select everything in this default scene by pressing A on the keyboard and delete. Now let's create UV sphere. So go to this add mesh, select UV sphere. Now let me move it just above to this grid, right click, shade smooth, fine. Now let's create our cloth itself by using a plane. So go to this add mesh, select plane. Now press S on the keyboard and increase the scaling here like this. Now let me move it just above to this sphere here. Okay. So in order to convert this plane into cloth, we need to have maximum number of subdivisions. So now let's add subdivisions to this plane. So select the plane, press tab on the keyboard to enter edit mode, right click, subdivide. Now hover to this options here and let me increase this number of cuts to 150. Now again press tab on the keyboard to exit edit mode. Okay. Now let's apply cloth physics onto this plane. So select this plane, come to this physics properties and apply cloth. So if I play this animation now, you will see that our plane will be falling down and it is also going through this sphere. We don't want that to happen. We want our cloth to be colliding with this sphere. So in order to make this plane collide with this sphere, we need to set this sphere as an colliding object. So now let's do that. So let me come back to this first frame, select this sphere, again come to this physics properties and apply collision. So now it's a colliding object. So if we play this animation, you will see that our cloth will be colliding with that object, which is sphere. And also if we observe here, you can see the cloth is passing through itself. We need to fix that. So again come to this first frame, select cloth, come to this physics properties, scroll down to this collision options and enable self collisions. Okay. Now let's create a ground plane. So again create a plane, press S and increase the scaling. Now we need to make this plane also as colliding object. So select this ground plane, come to physics tab and enter and apply collision. So if we see this animation, you can see the cloth is colliding with this sphere and also with the ground plane. Nice. So if we observe, we can see that our cloth is looking a bit blocky. So select the cloth, right click, shade smooth. Now it's better. So if you want to have this cloth still smooth, we need to increase the subdivisions. So increasing that subdivisions will increase the time in baking and also increase the simulation process to run slow. So I will be leaving this to here. So if we want to add some external force like wind to act on this cloth, we can do that. So go to this add, come to this force field and apply wind. So we got this wind options here. So let me place, bring it here, help me move it up, rotate it. Okay, increase the scaling. Let me increase the scaling here like this. Okay, now let's increase the strength of this wind. So if you play this animation now, we can see there is no much difference in the scene. So now let's increase the strength of this wind. So select this wind, come to this physics properties and in strength let me increase this to 500. So here you can see our cloth is interacting with the wind. Nice. So once you are happy with the effect, now let's bake this animation. So select this cloth, come to this physics properties once again, scroll down to this cache options. Where is this cache? Come to this cache, expand it and click on bake. So here you can see our baking is done and we got this simulation here which is looking good. Nice. Now let's move to this render view. Now currently it is looking dark because there is no light in the scene. So come to this world properties, click on this color options and add environment texture. Now let's select an HDRI image. We can download HDRI images from HDRI Heaven. So let me select those. So here you can see we got light in the scene. Now come to this render properties, scroll down to this film and let's make it transparent background. Let me enable ambient occlusion. Let me increase the distance so that we get some nice occlusion here. So now let's add some materials onto this cloth and this ground plane. So select this ground plane, click on this material properties, add new material. Let me change this color to red. Let me give it a metallic look, increase this metallic property, reduce the roughness. Nice. Now let's add some material onto this cloth also. So select the cloth, material properties, add new material. So let me change this color. So let me change it to blue. Okay, that would be fine. Now again come to this render properties, enable screen space reflections and also refractions. Okay. So once these settings are done, now let's add camera into this scene. So go to this add camera. Now press Ctrl Alt 0. Now press N on the keyboard. Come to this view options and enable camera to view. Now we can adjust the viewing angle here. So once the camera angle is set, in render engine you can use either EV or cycles. Cycles will be much better but it will take much more time when compared to EV. So I will be using EV only. Now let's move to this output properties. Resolution, by default it is set to Full HD. So enable this render region. How many frames it is going to render? Here 1 to 250. Frame rate, here you can adjust. I will be leaving to 24. Let me select output folder where I need to save this rendered images. So I selected this output folder. So now let's select this file format. Here you can use either JPEG or PNG. I will be using JPEG. Quality, let me increase this to 100% and disable this override option. So once these settings are done, now let's render the animation. So for that, simply come to this render and click on this render animation. So in this way we can do these cloth simulations in Blender easily. So hope you guys have learned something new from this tutorial. If you learned anything new from this, please click on that like button, do share and subscribe my channel to support me. So we'll meet in the next video. Until then, signing off, take care, bye.